My name is Hannah Weisfeld, and I'm the director of Yahad, which is, as you can probably tell from my accent, the British Jewish community's pro-Israel, pro-peace movement. I am the future of pro-Israel because through Yahad, I am giving voice to thousands of British Jews who want to speak out in support of Israel, speak out in support of ending the occupation, and speak out in support of creating a Palestinian state. The future of pro-Israel is a British Jewish community which is unafraid to say what it believes to be in Israel's best long-term interests. According to the last piece of polling of British Jewry, which was done about a year and a half ago now, and I think you'll be surprised by these statistics, 90% of British Jews believe that Israel is the ancestral homeland of the Jewish people, and 95% have been to Israel. We are an incredibly closely connected and passionate community, and to be closely connected and passionate means to be vocal and to speak up. And that's why, when on a university campus in the UK, Israel is demonized. It's accused of being a rogue and criminal state, undeserving above and beyond all other states to have a place in the family of nations. I, on behalf of Yahad, will go onto campus and I'll debate those opinions. And at the same time, when Himnuta, the JNF's company in Israel, evict Palestinians from their homes in Silwan in East Jerusalem, we are unafraid to galvanize thousands of British Jews to protest against those evictions, to tell the JNF in the UK that we believe those actions damage prospects for peace. The future of pro-Israel is a confident and articulate British Jewish community which is unafraid to defend what needs defending and also challenge what needs to be challenged. When you turn 16 in England, you take a set of, well, in the United Kingdom, you take a set of high school exams, or secondary school as we call it, and it's almost become a rite of passage that when you've completed those exams, you spend a month in Israel touring, having an Israel experience. So 50% of our 16-year-olds, just over, go to Israel and have that month in Israel seeing the sights. And of course, if you spend a month in Israel, you spend a significant amount of that time in Jerusalem. And if you can just picture in your heads, and I'm sure some of you have been to the place I'm going to describe, most Jerusalem experiences start in a neighborhood called Talpiot. And in Talpiot, there's a viewpoint called the Tayalet, where you can see the old city in front of you. And to your left, you can see pockets of Jewish West Jerusalem. And to your right, you can see neighborhoods of East Jerusalem, and you can see Abu Dis, which is behind the wall. So if you can imagine standing on that viewpoint, and of course, you look to the old city and you marvel at the role that Jerusalem plays for the Jewish people. But the future of pro-Israel is thousands of British 16-year-olds standing on that viewpoint, looking at the old city and being amazed at what role Jerusalem plays for the Jewish people and its centrality to Jewish life. And at the same time, noticing that on the tops of the Palestinian homes in the Palestinian neighborhoods, there are small black plastic water tanks. And those water tanks collect rainwater because in the neighborhoods of East Jerusalem where Palestinians live, they don't have access to proper municipal services. And so they collect rainwater as a substitute. Because the future of pro-Israel is to care that 250,000 Palestinians live inside those neighborhoods without equal access to education, without the right to vote, without a passport. Our young people should be able to care deeply about Israel and at the same time care not that it just exists as a Jewish state, but care about its character as a Jewish and democratic state. This summer, with Ira Mim, who I know are one of the conference partners and are here, we'll be taking over 50% of those 16-year-olds who take part in that experience to look at those black water tanks and to understand what they mean. That's the future of pro-Israel. We're 10 months old, and in those 10 months, we have taken hundreds of British Jews on tours to the occupied territories to get a sense of the conflict, to understand what the occupation looks like. Thousands of British Jews have participated in pro-Israel, pro-peace actions with us in support of a two-state solution and in support of democracy. Thousands of British Jews have participated in our educational events, hearing narratives that they have previously been excluded or completely ignored by the British Jewish community. The future of pro-Israel is tens of thousands of British Jews having those experiences with us. And just for the record, there are only about 280,000 of us, so tens of thousands is quite significant. I want to end by reading to you an email which I received just a couple of weeks ago from one of our supporters, a man called Bruce, who lives in London, and he wrote, "One of your greatest results is that people like me are able to stand up and say what we feel, express our love for Israel, and yet concern about some of its government's policies, knowing that Yachad stands behind us. The future of pro-Israel is thousands of people like Bruce who have found their lost voices. So when people look to the British Jewish community to understand what we think and feel about Israel, whether that's the Israeli government, Israeli civil society, the British government, or fellow Jews, they hear Bruce and those thousands of other people speaking up. And when they look to America, to Australia, to Europe, they hear all of our voices together that collectively, imbued with Jewish values, are speaking up in support of Israel, speaking up in support of ending the occupation, and speaking up in support of creating a Palestinian state. That is the future of pro-Israel."